Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1983 Toyota Celica Supra. Up front is a 2.8 liter inline six and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Celica Supra because this is the Mark II Supra. I've done the Mark III, Mark IV, and Mark V, and so I'm excited to expand my Supra knowledge today with the Celica Supra. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpradel.com, where you can buy stickers like this retro sticker pack or big friggin' bottle sticker, both with free shipping. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you could read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 2.8 liter inline six under the hood. It is a dual overhead cam engine, but it's still only 2 valves per cylinder. It's known as the 5M, and it makes about 150 horsepower. The engine is one of the big things that actually separated the Celica Supra from the regular Celica. At this time, this was just an upgraded version of the Celica. When the Mark III came about, that's when they actually split the Celica and Supra into their own vehicles. So the inline six was kind of a signature with the Supra version of the Celica, and I absolutely love the power from it. Is it fast? No. 150 horsepower isn't going to break any records, but it's really, really fun to drive, and you get a lot more torque than you would get in other vehicles like the standard Celica. Like I said, paired to a 5-speed manual transmission, one of my favorite parts of this car. It's so easy to drive. It's so easy to get in and out of gear. The driving experience is fantastic, and it's exactly what you would expect out of an older Toyota like this. The Tercel drove the same way. The Tacoma drove the same way. The 4Runner drove the same way. All of these 80s Toyotas that I've driven have this fantastic driving feel. If you close your eyes at night and imagine what it's like to drive a manual car, this is it. Last but not least, of course, the Celica Supra is rear-wheel drive, and it does come with a limited slip differential. However, this one's been swapped out for a little bit more of a modern unit because the clutch packs in the standard LSD are very hard to find in today's market. So one of those longevity tricks you have to do to keep these old cars running. 2.8 liters. Yeah, it's not very fast, but it is smooth and has that inline six appeal of that sort of, you know what I mean? With that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a bunch of analog gauges. On the left, I have my tachometer, battery voltage and fuel, and on the right, I have my speedometer, coolant temperature, and oil pressure. The interesting thing is that this is a new cluster for 1983. The 1982 Supra only went up to 85 miles an hour and had an emphasis on 55 miles an hour per the law in America in the 1980s. I have a whole mini documentary about that if you're interested, but a fun little Celica Supra fact. On the steering wheel, I just get my horn buttons and the nice Supra badge in the center. I really, really love that. Off to the left of the gauge cluster, I actually do have cruise control options and then just a climate control vent. On the door, I do have my power window options. That's it. And moving into the center, I have 2 climate control vents and the climate controls themselves. Very, very basic here, although it does say in big font, automatic air conditioner. Kind of funny to see that. Then I do have a cigarette lighter, AC button, and my radio. This, of course, has been changed out from the factory radio. Then I do have this big sort of long, awkward ashtray. And then the shifter itself. The shifter is very tall, has a very long throw. However, it being a Toyota, it is very direct, very intuitive, and I really, really love it. Then I do have some buttons down here, like my coin holder and my central locking, as well as my power mirrors. Then I get the handbrake and center console, meaning there are no cup holders here in the Celica Supra for the big friggin' bottle test. I know the glove box has some, but those don't count. Those are just for driving movies. So unfortunately, the 1983 Celica Supra fails the big friggin' bottle test. Now we gotta talk about the seats, and actually I wanna talk about the Celica Supra as a whole with the seats. The seats are 8-way adjustable, and that's part of the P-type version of the Celica Supra. There's the P-type and the L-type. The L-type was the luxury version, often found with leather interior, and had a less aggressive rear end, so it's a little bit slower, more of a cruiser. This is the P-type, which stood for performance type. It got little headlight washers, it got the fender flares on the outside. That's a dead giveaway for the P-type. So this was the more performance-oriented version. The engine didn't get any more power, so if you buy an L-type, you're not gonna have any more or less speed. However, most L-types were actually automatic transmission, where most P-types were manual transmission. So that goes with the seats. The seats are more performance oriented, which is really, really cool to see. Speaking of seats, however, the Celica Supra does have back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. So in the back of the Celica Supra, not much to really see back here. The seats themselves, like the actual cushions of them, are pretty comfortable. And I do have lap belts back here. However, I don't actually have shoulder belts for the back seats. Don't use these on people. This is not a comfortable back seat by any means. My head's hitting the ceiling. My knees probably won't exist if I did move the seat back. And things like that. Let's go take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, really the hatch, something I love about this era of vehicles, then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so we're on the back of the Celica Supra. You have to pop it from inside. But something I love about this era of cars is just how large the rear compartment is. You can fit tons of space back here. The Mark III Supra is the same. Mark IV Supra, you start to see it get a little bit smaller. Of course, the Mark V is actually tiny, but these older 80s hatchbacks have tons and tons of space. The FC RX-7 is the same way. However, there is something cool. You can pull this up and you have a spare tire. However, the Supra actually got a little hood prop so you can hold it up. How cool is that? That's so ingenuitive. Way to go, Toyota. But anyway, you have a spare tire and things like that, but I just love this little hood prop. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I love the boxiness, I love the 80s-ness of the Celica Supra. I love the Celica Supra badges. After we do this walk around, I'll show the badges, but I love the angularness of it. I think it's very, very early 80s. I call the brown era of vehicles and just culture in general. 1985 to 1990s were the synth wave, retro wave that we think of when we think of the 80s, but pre-1985, there was a lot of brown in everything. A lot of hard angles, a lot of matters of fact rather than cushy design. So that's evident with the outside. But like I said, I want to talk about the Celica Supra badges. First of all, super cool to really see those. But also they have these sort of like swan or like Viking ship logo on them. Super, super unique. I hope Toyota brings that back one day. But now let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think finally driving a Mark II Supra? Well, here's the thing. This has been the most pleasurable driving experience I've ever had in a Supra. Yes, I like the Mark V. I like the new one. It's very digital. It's very computerized. It feels like I'm driving a car in Gran Turismo. This feels like I'm actually properly driving the car, and it handles like I want it to. It drives like I want it to. The steering feels how I want it to. The shifter feels how I want it to. The throttle. Apparently my GoPro doesn't stay on like I want it to. The Celica Supra is more reliable than my GoPro. But oh man, it's not fast. It's not gonna blow you away. It's not gonna win you any speed competitions, but man, it's so engaging. I love it. Oh. And you know what? No, it doesn't have a short throw shifter in it, but I actually kind of like rowing it. I'm actually feeling like I'm a part of the process. I'm the one controlling this car, not you, not a computer under the seat. I'm doing it, and I love that feeling of the Celica Supra. I really genuinely mean this is the best driving feel and driving experience I've had in a car with the Supra name. I am a big, big fan. Huge thank you to Josh for letting me take out his Mark II Supra. We were able to squeeze this review in down here in San Diego. I finally got to experience a Celica Supra, and at that, have the best experience in a Supra I've ever had. So thank you, Josh, for that. I really appreciate it. He's a big Toyota guy, and I'm sure I'll be reviewing something else of his in the far future. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.